All right, great. Well, first of all, thank you all for coming. I want to thank the media for being here. There are a couple of questions that I want to answer in my introduction here. First of all, why would I want to do an endorsement? And it's become obvious to me that it's important for Montana, Montana's future, that we have representing us in the United States Congress a solid conservative. I think a solid conservative that supports the values and the principles that I supported as a congressman, that Denny Reberg supported as a congressman, that Steve Daines is currently supporting as a congressman. And so, looking at the field of candidates, it was obvious to me that there's one candidate that stands out with a solid conservative record and solid conservative credentials. One of the things that you may not know about Elsie and I is that we have one thing really common in our background, and that is that we both studied economics. And it's called the dreary science, some people would say. But I think it's really been a valuable experience, valuable knowledge to me, both in my private life, but also in my effort to serve as a public servant. We're both parents, we're both grandparents. We've built our agenda, what we want to do for Montana and America, around the notion that our responsibility is really to the next generation of Montanans, the next generation of Americans, not just to the next election. Then if you look at Elsie's record, first of all, she comes from a swing district in Billings. And she's been able to be elected and re-elected. She served 4 terms in the House and is now halfway through her first term in the Senate in a swing district, while remaining faithful to those conservative principles and conservative values that she believes in. She's a social conservative. She's a public school teacher who believes in school choice and has supported kids and parents in terms of education. She has a solid fiscal record. She has worked tirelessly to promote jobs in Montana's economy and the strengthening of Montana's economy. Then you look at her personal experience. Obviously, being a parent, a grandparent, a school teacher is a lot. She also has business experience. She knows what it's like to start a business in Montana, how hard it is to grow and sustain a business in Montana. As a legislator, she was chosen by her fellow legislators to chair 4 different committees: the Business and Labor Committee, the Transportation Committee, the Local Government Committee, and the Ethics Committee. To be chosen to head the Ethics Committee by your fellow legislators is a deep honor, because it demonstrates the fact that they understand and respect your commitment and your dedication to ethics. So if you take that together, her education and her education experience, her work experience, her family experience, her legislative experience, and her business experience, it's obvious to me that she's the best choice. And so I'm here today to endorse Elsie Arntzen to be our next United States Congressman.
Thank you all for coming. I so appreciate it. Great day here in the state of Montana. So I want to say thank you to Rick and Betty. You are true leaders in our state. Betty, of course, being a national committee woman, and Rick, of course, being our last nominee for governor. But most important, you know the qualifications that it takes to be in Congress, being a two-term congressman. So those qualifications are what I'm hoping to espouse to them. Because Rick is right. We do need a conservative who has the power to stand up to Obama, to stand up to Obama and his war in the West, to stand up to Obama and his war on our traditional way of life here. We need a Montanan who understands private property rights, a Montanan who understands the Constitution. We need a Montanan who is a proven fiscal conservative to push back on that overreaching spending, that $17 trillion debt. Our future generations must not be straddled with that horrendous 17-plus debt. And that is the reason why I am running for Congress. I am running for Congress to put an end to that reckless spending, to repeal Obamacare, and to provide innovative, positive, Montana-made solutions to fix the challenges that Washington gives to Montana. I am running for Congress to make America a better place for your children, your grandchildren, and mine. Because working together, we can bring America back. Working together, we can provide opportunities for this generation of Montanans. very honored to have Rick's endorsement and support. And I am very much looking forward to taking my unique, positive perspective and my Montana-made traditional values and work ethic to Washington. And with your support, I know that can happen. We at this time are heading out to Glendive, going to make that 7-hour trip across the state. Excited about seeing some wonderful people in eastern Montana. I want to thank you all for coming. Rick, I want to thank you again for your support and your endorsement. And with that, I wish you all well, and may God bless Montana, and may God continue to bless America. Thank you. Thank you. Any questions?
Sure. I think
Sure.
Just basically, I understand Congressman Diversity and seeing your conservative credentials, but there are, in the Republican primary, there are a couple of other folks who would also say they have pretty solid conservative credentials. And so for the voter who maybe wants a true conservative as the nominee, and who vote for the Republican primary, what do you think distinguishes you and makes you a better choice for that voter than, say, Corey or Matt?
Thank you very much for that question. I'll also let Congressman here go ahead and have a shot at that too. I have served longer in the legislative body than anyone that is currently in the running. But I also am that true Montanan. I've never left the state. I've raised my family in the state. I've raised my children in the state, have a business in the state, and I've worked very tirelessly for that. Plus also as a public school teacher, I see on the ground exactly what kind of challenges these families are having right now. And it is something that we need to rise above, and we need to make better. And I know that with my record we can do that.
I think there are two elements to that question. Is are there other conservatives in the race? There's at least one other conservative in the race that's a friend of mine. I know that person pretty well. And there are liberals in the race as well. In my view, Elsie has solid conservative credentials, and she's been able to maintain that conservative posture while representing that swing district in the legislature for now about a decade. And to me that's significant because there's a lot of pressure on people as they're serving the legislature in any other capacity, to water down their commitment and dedication to those principles. Elsie hasn't done that, and I think that's extraordinarily important. The other aspect of this is that Elsie can win the general election. We want a primary nominee who has the capacity to take on the powerful Washington interests that have picked the Democrat nominee in this race already. We know we're going to be up against a lot of resources and a lot of effort on their part. We know from our past elections. Elsie is the person that can do that. She can win this general election. So she has strong conservative credentials. She can win the general election. She's proven it to the people of Montana in terms of her leadership in the past. And so I think she's the best choice for those reasons.
Just one other thing. I'm speaking of going up against money. You entered the race last of all the Republicans in the field, and kind of filed an official report on your fundraising. I think that was 3 of the candidates raised a decent amount of money. One of those mostly out of his own pocket, but there's $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 range for those folks. Can you reveal anything about how much you've raised at this point to try and compete against?
We have a reporting period that ends on March 31st, so you'll be able to see then exactly what we've done. And I know Montana has been very supportive of me. So the money that has been bequeathed to me or given to me has been very generously supplied by Montanans. And there have been a few things from out of state, but most of the things are coming from Montana. So on March 31st, you'll be able to see. But I'm very, very confident with what we're going forward and using our resources conservatively at this point so that our voter contact will be across the board and across the state. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate your time. Thanks again, Mike. Appreciate it. Thank you. Give Betty a hug for sure.
Thanks, Rick. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.